Hobson City, Alabama is home to Rising Star United Methodist Church. Our project is to turn this once abandoned house into a community resource center. Hobson City, Alabama is actually a small town of less than 1,000 people, but it's the second oldest black community in the United States.
Pastor Randy Kelley came to Rising Star United Methodist Church with a vision of building up the church by building up the surrounding community.
The church had purchased this property 10 years ago, but didn't have the financial resources to actually renovate it.
So they called Devine Restoration, and we're here to help them fulfill their dream by creating a one-stop grassroots resource center for the entire community.
This church was planted here at the founding of the city. The black community was disenfranchised from the white community, which is now Oxford. They ran a black man for office, and when the black man won the election as Justice of the Peace, there was a white mayor who ran for mayor on the campaign promised that if he was elected as mayor, he would never let blacks vote in the city of Oxford again. So he went to the legislature in Montgomery, and he had the black section de-annexed without the knowledge or the permission of the black citizens in this town. And this church moved here in order to help this town. And they named it Rising Star because their intention was that they wanted the town to rise. And I think that this town is still dependent on this church, just like it was in 1887 when it was founded.
So it sounds like this church was a church and even a community of the disenfranchised. Who are some of the disenfranchised that you are reaching out to now?
Well, we're reaching out to ex-felons. We've led a movement to restore the rights of ex-felons. We have a number of single parents in this area. So we've launched a parenting project here at this church. We've got to be doers of the word. We should be out in the highways and in the byways, but otherwise we're really not in business as a church.
Thanks to Pastor Kelley's work ministering to local convicts, 2 of the men helping with the reno are on a day pass from the county jail. A small room in the church basement currently serves as the tutoring area.
0 plus 1.
1.
Okay. Okay. Good job.
My philosophy is I will try to instill in them to get an education, for one. And the biggest thing is respect for themselves.
Was it your vision then to open up this youth center?
Yes, it has always been, and our pastor we're big on youth.
So the library is going to be in play, the resource center, we're going to get some computers in there, which is fantastic.
It's going to be wonderful.
Is this like a dream come true
It
for
is.
you?
Now you got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Gary Mason grew up in Hobson City. He heads up a youth mentoring program here at the church.
Grow up here. Here's some of the
Are these
guys.
some of your kids?
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing? Jim. Nice to meet you. Demario. You part of the mentoring program?
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. Good.
These kids are at an age right now, they easy to get in trouble and hard to get out of. So I'm losing them at 12, 13, and I need to try to do something positive to try to stop them from going down that road. By doing what I'm trying to teach them in the mentoring class is basically when you wake up in the morning time, you see your mother. Yeah, I love you, Mom, every day. They got to tell their mom they love them every day.
Gary's mentoring program is centered around sports, but he also teaches life lessons about acing job interviews, managing debt, and preparing college applications. Tell me, guys, how many of you are going to go to college? Y'all going to go to college? Y'all going to get good grades in school? Yeah, good. Put them in there, guys. 1, 2, 3, break. Good.
With Dr. Randy D. Kelley coming up next.
I was invited to appear on Randy Kelley's weekly radio show, along with the mayor of Oxford and other dignitaries.
We got to reverse this trend where so many of our young people are getting into hip-hop before they get into holiness, getting into crime before they get into...
And Jeremiah was one of God's great prophets. In fact, the Bible calls him a weeping prophet because he talked about that he desired to weep day and night for the slain of the daughters of his people. And there ought to be something that we ought to cry about, something that we ought to be sad about. Breast cancer, prostate cancer, the different problems, the hunger in our community, the homeless, the the hungry people, there ought to be something that we ought to be concerned about. The Bible tells us that Jeremiah had found himself in trouble. And he was not in trouble because he was doing wrong, but he was in trouble because he was trying to do right. And let me just tell you something, church, you can find yourself in trouble for trying to do right. So God raised up Ex-Felon. And Ex-Felon, he didn't pass by Jeremiah. He got off his motorcycle, got down in the ditch. You know, other day I was on the web and I was looking at some stuff about the passing of Reverend Timothy Wright and hit the wrong button, and a son came up talking about do the stanky leg. He wasn't doing the stanky leg. He got down off his motorcycle and went down to help his poor and suffering brother, and he was tough due to the fact that he interrupted the king in his proceeding. He could have been killed, could have risked his life, but he risked his life in order to help his suffering brother. And let me just tell y'all something. There's always somebody that's in the ditch. Always somebody that needs some help. There's always some brother and sister, street angels, that we can pull up out the ditch.
She is a single mother in Hobson City. With the help of the Rising Star community, her children are doing very well.
They love it.
Yeah,
Yes, they love it.
So they come in, they bring the homework from the school that they have that day, and then they can all sit together, make sure that it gets done.
Right. Oh, well, my son, he goes as well. And he's gone from C's and D's to A's and B's.
Fantastic.
Rising Star means to me is to bring the kids and make them rise and to be whatever they can be. The Rising Stars.
Along with the after-school tutoring program, youth activities at Rising Star include the children's choir and the praise team, choreographed by senior youth member Brittany Forbes.
I lived in Hobson City from birth till I was about 13 years old. I grew up in this church, so I continue to come to this church too. I do things in the church such as choreograph the praise team, sing in the youth choir, participate in youth activities, just anything I can do to help. I would love to help mentor some of the youth because they tell me all the time that they look up to me, so I love to help.
The girls aren't the only ones having fun. In addition to organized sports, the boys also have a dance troupe. This project was a huge undertaking, but we got the 4 rooms done in record time.
This old abandoned property was in serious disrepair when we started, but now the children and youth of Hobson City have an amazing star center to make use of.
Remember the empty room with the hole in the floor? I don't think anyone will now that it's been turned into a warm, inviting library.
So excited. I'm just spellbound. I started to wait until everybody else come in, and then I want to cry, you know, because this was a mess. This was a mess. You all just thank God for you. Thank God for you.
So, Kamara, this is the day
that I've been waiting for 5 long years, and it is a reality come true.
Really?
I can't wait till tomorrow comes. They're out of school. So you know what? We can have a day in our Star Center.
I want to thank you because you were responsible for bringing us here. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Devine Restoration. Thank you.